know if she's feeling you and how to actually get her to be feeling you is always going to come down to what you give off to a woman, and also what is she trying to get from you. Because for one, if you give off that guy, or you have your stuff together, you can get women, or you're secured, you're not anxious avoidant, you worked on your attachment style, you're not avoidant or fearful avoidant. Sometimes I know things come up, things get triggering, you know, sometimes we lightly got PTSD with certain stuff that are traumatic, right? My point though is that on your aspect, on your area of life, it's being worked on. So you can be this type of guy, you can have progress going on. However, now let's talk about the woman that you're dealing with. Now this is important because she can want you for the right reasons, and then life changes for her and then she switches. Another thing could also be that if she's starting to get to know you and you led with your pockets, or if you made promises, false promises. A lot of women love when you can keep your word. So things like that can for sure change the dynamic, that sorts of stuff. Now, I'm going to give you more of what you'll see from her end in a second. I just want you to remember this throughout the whole video. You're here, she's here. You can be ready, she can't be ready. She can be ready, you're not ready. You can meet another woman, then there's you still. This is you, now you're dealing with another woman. You're not prepared, you are prepared. So what I'm just trying to get you to get is that it really depends. It depends on where you're at, it depends if you're going backwards, and so on with this woman, or if it's a new woman. Don't always expect the same thing. Sometimes it could be smooth, sometimes it's complicated. So sometimes what a woman will do when she is feeling you or wants to make sure that you know she's about you, she will make sure to be in contact. A thing that you might have been seeing lately, it's been always around, but a lot of women make posts about if he wanted to, he would. And this just refers to, those are the exact words, literally. If he wanted to, he would. And so when they do this, they're referring to if a man wants to do something, he would. And normally females will just put it over either something that's been done for them from their whoever they're dating. So it could be little cute things, whether it's like flowers, picnic, roses at the door, like that sorts of stuff. Maybe a text message that's saying be ready at this time, stuff like that. Cute little things, setting up things, making sure she's okay, etc. Okay, you get my point, which I wanted to keep going, but you get my point. I'm assuming so. So then with her, when it comes now to a woman and she knows that she wants you, it's actually the same thing. There's a lot of things that I think sometimes, because fellas don't always have the best experience with women, they don't remember what, or they don't know, because how could you really remember if you never experienced it? Maybe you have, but for those who haven't, you don't know what it's like to actually have a good woman by your side. How many of y'all actually had a good woman by your side? Comment it down below. I am curious to know. Consultations, I've learned a lot, and it's not always great experiences, but I've learned a lot. There's some slight ones, there's some men that do need to get checked for their own situation, but for the most part, women, yeah, it's not always great out here. Anyways, now if she's wanting to, she will as well. So when I say women end up doing the same thing when they're really feeling you, when they want you, that you've been doing, that's what you might not experience, or you don't really know why it's not happening, but it's realistically because she's not into you. So if we're talking about the reverse or the opposite of it, that's going to be effort. Some stuff when it comes to contact, just think of like, how is her texting been? Another tell all sign, let's say, or how you can understand where she's coming from, is making initiation, making an effort. So she's not too concerned about, oh, you got to do this first, or oh, I don't want to double text. She'll double text. If she has to make sure she needs to come to your home, if she's feeling like you're really being lost, like you're drifting apart, she feels like she can't get the same attention from you. This is why I also mentioned the stuff that you can be doing, because if you've been doing all that you got to be doing, sometimes it takes away from her even needing to step up. She's just not as excited, or doesn't feel the need to, or doesn't care, or simply is just a, you know, the big H word. So when we talk about if she wants to, she will make sure to have the contact going on. She won't go too long. Like if you have a woman playing games where it's like she didn't talk to you for a whole day or a whole 2 days, and especially if you're in a serious relationship, that's gonna tell you a lot. Like unless, like, you know, she was with a woman all day, if you know that she was with like a woman as in like her girlfriend, if you know that she's like at a retreat, or she's at like, let's say she's with another family member, like, you know, family members back to back, it's for the holidays, like stuff like that is somewhat understandable, but for the most part, that's not stuff that you want to have to be dealing with. So my point is, you don't have to second guess with her. You know clearly, and she will communicate. She'll stay in contact. You guys have understanding. And another thing is, if you're actually showing leadership and it's not giving like too much, right? Like, oh, you got to do this, make sure you like this, like to the T, or you're out. Not to say you can't do this, but most times, especially when you're in the beginning, you got to be careful. My point though is, she's very open-minded. We know in the modern day it's not like that. A lot of women are closed off to the idea of like, no, I'm not gonna listen, or sometimes it's like they want to be led but they don't feel like they're being led properly, but yet they're not willing to even adjust certain stuff. So the openness is gonna show a huge willingness, which shows that she's more in her femininity. How many of y'all also dealt with a woman that's really in her masculinity for the wrong reasons? Only say wrong reasons because there is good reasons when women are actually in their masculinity. It's like, you know, out here having to work and sorts of stuff that makes a woman tap into like having to be very resilient and a whole lot of other stuff that causes us to have strength. Like, those are good characteristics. It's needed for survival, right? It is. But there's also things that y'all can be doing in your femininity. Not to say you should be feminine or all the time, but being emotional, like tap to it. A lot of women want a man that's emotionally intelligent. So when I say also she'll be open-minded, she's going to be patient with you for your own growth as well, because men aren't naturally like that all the time. Or if you are like that with her, she's still going to be open-minded. And again, when she's patient, stuff like that, that means she's like listening, she's understanding you. She's not like they're just, okay, a pretty face or nice body or a good woman for you in that moment, and then behind the scenes doing something trifling. That's not what you have to worry about. That's not what's gonna happen. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about how to get her to that point. But of course, don't forget consultations. Quickly, want a book, get on the line, have results happen, and how to execute it. I got y'all. I've helped many people, still help people for years now, and people book on a weekly basis, talk to them for hours at a time. But it's always to get clarity, go over your timeline. We take our time, we make sure we understand it, and you know what you're doing, you know how to go through it, and you are always only gonna get the truth, the honest truth from me, nothing else, nothing less, no sugarcoating. So again, if you want to know how to go about it in any situation too, it's not just dating. I've talked to many people. I've talked to women and men. I've talked to couples. So book by clicking the link down below. Wanted to kind of cut it short, but I had to let y'all know about that. Patreon for usual exclusive and explicit content. You can get it by clicking the link down below. I have two, so check out which one you want, and you can join for free. Join the community. Now back to what I was saying. When it also comes to you making her get to that point of wanting you and having the willingness, you have to be patient as well. Because if I talk to you about like, don't invest or don't invalidate or don't do these things that you don't have to do because she has to earn you, that's one aspect. But if you do it, right, like you don't do the things, so you do what's being told, that's going to help you, but you, excuse me, but I just ate like not too long ago. So if you stray away from doing that, then and go into not being patient and open-minded and taking your time, it's gonna drift you away from the whole idea of, let's say you're dealing with her and you're being patient and you want results. I mean, you're not so much being patient, but like you're making her earn you. So all I'm trying to say, with not adding any confusion, just be patient if you want her to earn you. Because if she's not disrespecting you or being rude and she needs to be led, also you might know, dealing with a younger woman, they're going to be more coachable, right? You can mold them more. Not that you maybe not want to, but some men are interested in that way. Some men find it easier to deal with a woman like that. Now, to wrap that all up, just understand that you're going to have characteristics that you might expect that she has, but it is going to be good for you to have. So the patience, understanding, and willingness. Now, this is always going to be key, no matter what, no matter how many times you've heard it. Have expectations and have boundaries off the bat. Like, I've talked to so many people that never talk about it or never reestablish it or never like properly talked about it, and I feel like it's messed up a lot of things, because you might get confused as to, am I being too patient with her? Am I letting too much happen? Which, so much to talk about, but my video is almost at 10 minutes, so I know I want to keep elaborating, but we'll wrap it up at this. definitely more to talk about. And I'm gonna leave it at this per usual, and I love y'all. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Don't miss out. Click the links down below, join the communities, and we'll talk again, or you'll see me soon. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.